Manus flat on the canvas. We are ready to rock and roll. Second round of action. There is a cut on Manus.
Yeah. Jesus.
Martial art. Yeah.
Like my man B-Hop, he got dropped out the ring last night. I need a little judo baby. I need me a little judo baby, and let's do it, Rhonda. Let's hit me up.
See you were telling me this. You've got a face for radio.
That's got a face for radio.
That's nice.
Martial arts chat.
Hello and welcome to Martial Arts Chat Podcast. On this episode we'll be looking ahead to Cage Warriors 100. It takes place in Cardiff
Martial
on the
Arts
8th of
Chat.
December. We'll be speaking with all the big fighters from that card, including Skeletor, Rhys, McKee, Jack Shore, Aaron Khalid and Scott Boom Boom Malone. Before we get to our guests, just a quick shout out to our sponsors, A1 Fight Gear. A1 Fight Gear use the latest cutting edge boxing gloves for professional amateur fighters, gym enthusiasts and kickboxers, so local and national gyms in the UK. Do yourselves a favour and check out a1fightgear.com. If you want to get into shape, get back into shape, or just keep trimming the fat off, go to beastgear.co.uk and use the coupon code MartialArtsChat to save 15% off your purchases for core sliders, straps and barbell pads, all sorts of strength and conditioning programs to suit your needs at all levels. Beast your goals with beastgear.co.uk. And finally, we're also sponsored by MMATakeover.com. For the real MMA rankings, go to MMATakeover.com or visit them on Facebook and on Twitter. And so to our guests. First up, we travel to Wales to speak with the man himself, Jack Shore.
Build for Cage Warriors 100 takes place Saturday 8th of December in Cardiff's Ice Arena, and I'm pleased to say joining us at this time, the tank, Jack Shore. Jack, how you doing, sir?
All good, all good. Looking forward to fight night training hard. So same old, mate. You know, how are you?
Hanging in there, man. Hanging in there. A pleasure to have you on. Centenary show, man. Obviously, you're Wales' greatest son on Cage Warriors at the moment, mate. I mean, aside from the fact that it's buzzing for its 100 and it's in Wales, but how are you just feeling in general when you're in your preparation for Mike Ockendale?
Yeah, feeling great. Obviously, I pretty much rolled straight through from the last fight camp. I had a week off, or a week of light training, I should say, and straight back into this one. So, you know, the weight and the cardio was good, a bit better than it would usually be starting a camp out, you know. So, yeah, feeling good. Prep's going great. I'm getting some good sparring in, some good technical work, and yeah, just looking forward to the 8th of December and putting it all on show.
Yeah, man. And you mentioned, you know, off the back of that amazing night, by the way, at Cage Warriors 97, quick finish, Amaya. You were letting everyone know, you know, you're making a gesture. The title's what you wanted. Can I just ask you to cast your mind back to that night, mate? You know, it was obviously a fantastic night for yourself. Just your thoughts on how it all went down.
Yeah, it was a good night. You know, they at the time it was the biggest night in Welsh MMA history. I think this one will obviously top that. But it was a bit of a mad few days. Obviously, I had my opponent pull out just before the weigh-in, and there was a couple of names thrown into the hat to fight, and then obviously Maya stepped in, so it was a non-title fight because he could only make 145, despite me making 135. So, you know, in my head, I won the belt that night, but obviously to put that image in everyone else's eyes and everyone else's mind, I've got to win it on the 8th. So, yeah. But yeah, it was a great night. You know, massive atmosphere, a real step up for Welsh MMA to fight in an arena like the Ice Arena, you know, and sell it out as well. And I'm looking forward to seeing it almost upgraded, I suppose, at Cage Warriors 100. I know they're opening the arena up a little bit more, so there'll be more fans in there, and just looking forward to seeing how it all goes down.
Yeah, man, and you've got a really ever-growing fan base, man. We'll get to some of that later on for sure. But let's get to Mike, because one of the first features we did in this podcast a few years ago, we were at Bama for Shea Walsh and Ed Arthur. And I think that was Arthur's first defeat, actually. He was going in defending the belt. But I mean, I was impressed with Arthur in the lead-up, and I got a chance to meet Ed when he was up here in Scotland. He took apart Cameron Else, quick fashion. But so when I watched Ed get controlled by Mike Ockendale, I was like, well, who's this guy? Titan fighter, he's undefeated amateur and pro like yourself. I mean, it's whetting the appetite for your fans, but I mean, everyone in the country, man's buzzing for this. I guess my question is, how do you rate Mike, and what threats do you think he possesses?
Yeah, I rate Mike very highly. Obviously, like you said, undefeated amateur and pro, so that in itself shows that he's a high level, and obviously comes from a good gym. Lots of top guys there, you know, especially lower weight guys. So obviously, it's going to be a tough fight, and there's no secret what he does. Like you said, he comes out, he gets that takedown, and he looks to control. But I'm confident, and you know, I'm confident that I'm just a better all rounder, and I don't think people are giving me, just through looking online, I don't think people are giving me much credit for my wrestling. And obviously, we've never had to really use my defensive wrestling because people are always trying to keep it standing with me. No one's seen that aspect of my game yet. So a lot of questions will be answered on the 8th. And I can see why everyone's buzzing for this fight. Like you said, 2 undefeated guys. I think we're ranked number 1 and 2 in the UK bantamweight rankings. So it's got something for everyone. And obviously, like you said, someone's got to lose. Unless it's a draw, which hopefully it won't be, but someone's got to lose that undefeated or that 0. So it's going to be real interesting come fight night.
Yeah, it's so buzzing, man. I can't wait. Let's talk a wee bit actually about. Hope I'm not butchering it. Is it Abertillery? That's your
Abertillery? Yeah,
Abertillery, right. So early life for you, Jack. Obviously, your father, right, Richard, big influence growing up, big name in sort of MMA community for UK. But I mean, just tell us a wee bit about your life. Were you always a sporty kid growing up, aside from martial arts, things like that?
I played a little bit of football and rugby. I wasn't a bad rugby player when I was a teenager, but I've always done martial arts all my life pretty much. I started at 6. My dad took me to a local kickboxing gym, and then he opened his own gym, obviously, Tulare Combat there when I was 2007, so I would have been about 11, 12, and that's when it all kick-started, really. Even all them years ago, people like Jack Marshman, Chris Edwards, Martin McDonough are all in the gym training. So I was always, training alongside them guys, despite being a young kid.
That's amazing.
So I suppose you could say I've grown up into the sport, and it was just a natural progression. It was always something I wanted to do, but I was never pushed into it. My dad always tried to not steer me away from it, but encouraged me to go on other avenues, sort of with the rugby, and made sure I went to uni and stuff like that. But it was always something that I had set in my head I was going to do, and obviously, it's paid off me going down that route because I'm not doing half bad for a young kid from the valleys in Wales.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. You've done well, kid, for sure. And Abertillery, is that quite a rural place? Like, are you far from Cardiff and Swansea and that kind of thing?
Yeah, we're right out the way. We're a small little town in the valley. It'd take us about 40-50 minutes to get to Swansea or Cardiff, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're right out the way. So the talent we have coming from this town, or the surrounding towns through our gym is quite astonishing, really, when you consider how small the area is. The talent pool's massive.
Yeah, that is it, man. That's amazing. And you mentioned, obviously, Richard, your father there, but not just in terms of, imagine MMA advice is almost always through him, but in general, how important your dad in your life, mate? You mentioned there that I was almost trying to steer you away from this crazy world, but how important is he in your life, mate?
Yeah, really important. He's always had a massive influence on me, and he always has been, always will be someone I look up to, and if ever I need advice or anything like that, he's the first person I go to, and he's not afraid to tell me if I'm in the wrong or if I'm doing something wrong. He'll tell me, and I know if he does pick me up on something, whether it be fight related or just in life in general, he's doing it for my best interest, not his own. So he's and just based on that, he's someone that like I said, I look up to my dad massively, and he's always been a big part of my life and always will be.
That's amazing, man. Welsh talent, we mentioned it there, buzzing at the moment. Yourself, you mentioned Jack Marshman. Brett John's a guy I'm a big fan of. I got a chance to meet him in Glasgow. And Lewis Long always entertains me, man. I'm excited. I think Lewis signed up with Bellator now, right? He was one of the guys that got poached, and I'm looking forward to his performance.
Well, me and Lou got the same boxing coach, Gary Lockett, so I see Lou quite regularly, and yeah, I think he's signed to Bellator now. He's told me they're looking to get him out beginning of next year, and I'm glad for Lou. He's been about a long time, and he served his time, I suppose you could say, on the not the lower down shows, because Cage is obviously a big show, but he served his time in European MMA. So it'd be nice to see him, get a couple of fights in America and elsewhere. It'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. He's earned his stripes, man. I know what you're saying for sure.
Definitely.
Your thoughts on the MMA scene, your home country, mate? It's buzzing at the moment. Wales, what's the stuff for the future?
Yeah, I mentioned it, I think, in an interview couple of days ago, is how at the minute I feel like Welsh MMA is hitting its peak. We got boys in the UFC, we got boys like myself, Josh Reed, Chris Edwards, Aaron Khalid, all fighting top level guys on Cage Warriors, and the amateur scene is through the roof. We got guys fighting in the IMAFs, we got guys fighting on the Cage Warriors Amateur Grand Prix, and even young kids in the gym, like 16, 17-year-old kids, you're looking at them, you're thinking, how good are these boys going to be when they 20, 21? So it's right here at the minute, and I think it's the way it's going, especially with the level we're training at and the level we're competing at, it's only going to get better, and I keep saying to people, if ever you're in two minds about getting involved in MMA in Wales, now's the time to do it. Because, it's definitely going to get tougher as the years are going on.
Absolutely, mate, absolutely. Jack's show is on fire. This is what I see always online. And the tattoos as well, mate. Can you clear our listeners up? What's the story with the tattoos?
So, basically, let's go start with the old Jack show on fire thing. So, basically, when there was the Euro 2016, it was obviously the Will Griggs on fire chant. And I had my first fight in Cage Warriors signed for, it was June of 2016. And two of the boys pulled up outside my house to buy some tickets. And they said, we've got a chant made up for you. I said, go on, let's hear it. So, they started with the old Jack show on fire song. And a couple of months after the fight, I won the fight. They was chanting at the fight. And then a couple of months after that, I went on a boys' holiday to Sunny Beach in Bulgaria. Right. And woke up one morning and two of the boys had decided they were going to get a Jack Show on fire tattoo on their chest. So they come home with this tattoo, and then it just sparked the thing. You know, the next night then 2 others went. The next night 2 others went after that. And before you know it, 2-3 years down the line now, I think something like 15, 16 people have got a tattoo, including one of my friends, Jasper, who's got it on the side of his head. So
nice.
it's tucked right off.
That's amazing, man. People get them in the strangest places. The big dog down our gym, the Scottish Hit Squad's Paul Craig, and we were talking about crazy tattoos, and some fan had got a tattoo of his face on his thigh. And, we were just, God bless the guy if that's what he wants to get a tattoo, but then you've got Paul Craig looking at your dick every time he takes a shit and stuff like that. We were just kind of teasing it about. It's ridiculous, man. Sometimes people with tattoos. Tremendous, though. I love it. I love hearing those stories, man. And you've such a big fan of Wales, but I hate asking this question, mate. But I'll ask it anyway. Not to look too far ahead of Mike. After 100, hypothetically, you get the W, you get the belt. Try to do it carefully. But what's the plan going forward, I'm asking, mate? What are you looking to get at 2019, Jack?
Well, I've got 3 fights left on my contract with Cage Warriors, and like I said, I'm happy to see that out. They pay me well, and they give me a lot of good promotion. So, like I said, I'm not in no rush either. I want to defend the belt a couple of times, and if the UFC comes, the UFC comes. But it's not something I focus my career solely on. Do you know what I mean? When it comes, and I'll be ready for that. But for now, I'm happy where I am. I'm fighting great opposition in Cage Warriors, the best guys I could possibly fight in Europe. So it's just a matter of a fight at a time at the minute, and obviously just get this one out the way, and then hopefully I'd like to get 2-3 fights in 2019 as well, defending that belt. Yeah,
Jack, sure, an absolute pleasure to get your time in the podcast, mate. Before I let you go, I just want to give you the opportunity to acknowledge any sponsors or associates, family, friends, anyone you like, mate. The floor is yours, Jack.
Yeah, just big thanks to all my team and my coaches, Richard Shaw, Gary Lockett, Greg Carlo, Carl Park, obviously all my family, my friends, my girlfriend, and obviously all my sponsors as well. I'm not going to name them individually because I've got that many. I'll end up missing out one and upsetting someone. But if you'll find them all on my social media, Jack Show MMA everywhere. So check it out and give them guys a follow as well.
Cracking. Jack, a thank you. Massive thank you again for your time, mate. Good luck at Cage Warriors, sir.
No problem at all. Thanks for having me on, mate. Speak to you soon.
Last Chat podcast. On this episode, we'll continue with the coverage. Build of Cage Warriors 100 takes place in Cardiff on the 8th of December. I'm pleased to say we're rejoined at this time by Boom Boom himself, Scott Malone. Scott, how you doing, mate?
Excellent, mate. How's yourself?
Hanging in there, man. But it's been buzzing for you, mate. No pullouts last month. Solid performance again. That was a tough kid, Damasingi. You got to finish as well. I was shouting and bawling, annoying the neighbours. But your thoughts on it, mate? Your thoughts on the performance and how you're feeling from it?
The thoughts on the performance. See, when I was in there, I didn't feel like I'd done as well as I actually did until I watched it. Then I realised that I'd done quite well. There was a few sloppy things in there, but I don't know. Just for some reason, when I was in there, it felt a lot different. You know what I mean? I felt like he was pressuring me quite a lot there. Mm-hmm. I felt I was on the back foot a bit, but obviously happy to even knock him down. Never mind get the finish.
Sure, aye.
Happy to get the use of my actual hands.
And this is what you were speaking about last time. A lot of people that know you as the judo guy, right? You're the judoka and you're a solid grappler. But that was one of the things you mentioned. You would like people to kind of see the striking side of things, and you got a chance to showcase that, mate. That was for sure. Knock down, knock out, man. That's solid.
I think it was even better because the guy was
it was always made out elite striker versus elite grappler.
Aye.
So it just made it that just a wee bit sweeter.
Yeah. I hate when they do that though, like, because when I was talking, we had Paddy Pimlet and Soren back on for that one. Oh no, sorry, that was the Cage Wars before Big Bird, and we were, you know, the people had sort of built it. Oh, this is the jiu-jitsu guy versus the wrestler, and we were talking about it. It's like those days are long gone, man. Like you can't, you've got to be clued up in everything, right? You can't just pigeonhole yourself into one aspect, surely.
I know. I think everybody's, well, me especially. I've always trained the weakest link. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm always training everything, but I would like to train the weakest link first, and I've worked a lot on my striking, like from the very start.
I hear some guys say that though when they sort of move away from what brought them to the dance, that it can disrupt things. I'm trying to think of someone that comes to someone big. It comes to mind, maybe Anthony Pettis. Like he focused too much on the wrestling game, and for a while there, he was kind of getting away from amazing striking. How do you find keeping a balance with?
No, I've always will go back to the roots. You know what I mean? That's my bread and butter. It's never neglected. Hence why I was going over to Team Alpha Male. That was a big reason why I went over to Team Alpha Male as well.
For the striking, right?
No, not for striking.
Oh, right.
No.
I was going to say for wrestling.
For wrestling.
Aye.
I knew I was obviously a grappler and got like a judo background, but more of a wrestling-based judo guy. I knew that was always the case, but when you're sparring with guys that know you're the judo guy, you know they'll never shoot in.
Of course,
very rarely shoot in. Yeah. But when you're over there, like they're all wrestlers. That's what they do. They're all constantly shooting on you. You know what I mean? So it gets you used to that.
Yeah.
And it was a good way to test like where my grappling was as well.
Oh, aye, absolutely. With a cracking gym, no doubt as well. Have you got plans for doing that? I mean, I don't imagine you're going to fit this one in for Alpha Male for this time, but you get plans to get out there and check those guys out again at some point in the future?
I would honestly love to. I'm going to Florida next year, so it depends on money, pretty much.
It is a big financial jump.
If Cage Warriors start paying me some more money, then...
You heard that Cage Warriors up his bill, man. He's got some Florida trips to make. I know you were saying to me last time, mate, it wasn't any disrespect to Adam, but your thoughts on the initial matchup was like, who's this guy? You wanted something bigger. You wanted a more established name, right?
Yeah.
I mean...
all respect to Adam, he was stronger than I thought. Like I thought with him coming up from flyweight, he was really strong in the scrambles.
Mm-hmm.
Good hips and that, so he was quite hard to hold down. He was good at like posting on my head and shit and getting back up, which was good. I think because I took him down quite a lot, he was then expecting that, and I think that sort of opened up the hands. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then you get a chance to expose that.
Yeah,
with big name matchups, shall we say? You kind of get your wish here with Josh Reed. Josh had that fight last year, Nathaniel Woodman, what scrap that was. What's your thoughts ahead of this contest, and what's your thoughts on Josh Reed as a fighter, mate?
Josh Reed is a very tough opponent. You know what I mean? He's obviously toughest opponent today. I think Adam's technically better, but I think Josh is more of like a fighter, if that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
He comes forward and he stands and bangs. You know what I mean? That's his thing. He's definitely got the tougher aspect of things, but I think Adam is technically better than him. But yeah, I think if I win this fight, I'll be calling for a title shot, definitely. Got to be. I think they'll probably put me in with someone else, though. I think they'll probably put me in with Bullen, I'd imagine, but I'll be calling for that shot.
Why do you think that is? I know you were saying there you're wanting to call for a title shot, but it sounds like you're not really expecting it. What makes you doubt that, mate? What makes you think they'll give you somebody else?
I'm on a 5-fight contract.
Uh-huh.
Right, this would be, my third fight? So it would make sense for another fight, and then for the last fight, it would be on my contract for the belt, you know what I mean?
You reckon that's how they look at it, try and get...
I don't know.
Fulfill the contract?
I don't know what they think, yeah. I'm just happy to fight whoever's in front of me, but as big his name as possible. I'm you know what I mean? I'm just happy to fight. As long as I don't pull out, I'm good.
This is it, exactly, man, exactly. Especially with yourself, Scott. Later that night, and we sort of mentioned there that you see the bantamweight belt that's on the line, and there's two undefeated guys going for this belt. No doubt you'll have an eye in this contest, Jack and Mike. How do you have an idea, or do you have a thought on how that might go down, mate?
I actually got an interview yesterday about this. I think it depends on Jack's striking. So if Jack can get a good distance on the striking and not let Akindale in, I think it's his night. But I think if Akindale can get hold of him, get him down,
Yeah.
that might be a different story. You know what I mean? Because he's got really good like top control and
Solid guy.
Yeah, he looks really like strong guy. Two big guys for the weight as well, so that'll be a very interesting match. I think it could go either way, to be honest, but I think if I was going to pick one, it'd probably be Jack.
Aye, and it's a tasty fight. It's whetting the appetite for a lot of folk, and it's befitting that they're putting it on, you know, such a big show. Jack Shore, obviously, he's the poster boy for Wales, if you like. So it's going to be amazing. No, just on the back of Mecca can do as well. Like one of the first features we did on the podcast a couple of years ago was it was for Bama, and it was Shea Walsh and Ed Arthur, and I was really impressed with Ed Arthur, and I got a chance to meet him later in Glasgow. He's fighting up here in ACB. And I just always liked his style. Like, he didn't, kind of like what you were talking about earlier on, like someone who's a scrapper, who, you know, just likes to fight to go anywhere, they're a game. And see, when I saw Mike just controlling Ed, like, didn't even look like it was, I don't want to say it was effortless, but the grappling aspect, I was like, whoa,
yeah,
you know, who's this guy? And he does, man, he looks big for the weight as well.
He looks very, very strong. Like, he looks. I've actually heard Nathaniel Wood saying that he was the strongest bantamweight he's ever like wrestled with or something.
Fair play, man. Aye, it should be a tasty one for sure. We're still all waiting with bated breath, mate, for Cage Warriors to announce a Scotland show. I know I always bring it up. We're always leaning on them, as many others do from this country. But you think it'll ever happen, mate? Maybe, I don't know, next year? Do you think it'll be on the horizon?
I think if I win this fight, I'm going to call for it.
Good, man. I hope you do.
I'll put it out on the mic. I'll do a Conor McGregor. call it the champion and in Scotland, hopefully.
Yeah, that's it. You want the belt, you want the where, and you want the when. Aye, good.
Yeah.
When we talked about it, we did a wee media roundtable last time, and one of the boys, Keir Harvey, was mentioning, you know, it makes sense that when they do, Cage Warriors do a show, they keep yourself and Paul McBain and Ross Houston, you know, they keep the Scottish guys together on a card, so it must be on their minds purely from that standpoint alone, which I think's probably fair enough. It's just been so long, man. I think it was like 2010, 2011 since they've done one, and oh man, I don't know.
Yeah. I think that, like, what Ian Dean said to me ages ago, I don't know if I've said this before, but he says it was like, it's pretty much a fucking pain in the ass to get there. Like, all his production team and stuff, they're all down in London.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they've all got to get flight, and predominantly the fighters are all from England.
Aye.
You know what I mean, there's only a few guys from Scotland or whatever. But he was on about, basically it was like a lot of work to go up to there, to go up to Scotland.
Aye.
And he says he's seen what happened at ACB, and I think that put him off as well.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, ACB, as much as I like the less show, more fights, I was there, man, and it was weird.
I was there myself. It was.
And how weird was it? Like, people were just dotted about the arena, right? I mean, it was probably half the capacity, but you know, we were saying like they should have closed like a section off or something, make it where.
I reckon Cage Warriors is a lot bigger than ACB, especially in Scotland anyway. A lot more people have heard of Cage Warriors in Scotland because of Conor McGregor and stuff like that. Nobody's really heard of ACB, especially at the time.
Oh yeah.
You know, I think they definitely sell out. Like, got to be even. I don't know if Ross will fight again under Cage Warriors. He might get signed for UFC, I'd imagine. But I think if Ross, me, Paul, and Aiden's now fighting on it as well. So
yes.
I think like we're all big ticket sellers, especially up this neck of the woods. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It doesn't have to be a hydro. You know, it could be. It will sell out, and it will sell well if it doesn't sell out for sure. Random question next, mate. Just because we're speaking a wee bit off air about it. New tattoo. Saw your post the other day. You just went in and said, "Give me whatever."
Yeah, pretty much. I actually had an idea. I was going to get my knee done, but I only had 2 hours. So I said to the guy, and the guy's like, "Well, your knee will take a bit longer than 2 hours." So I was like, "Well, what could you do in 2 hours?" I gave him a design. I gave him a couple of designs actually. He's like, "We'll go with this one." So I got an eagle with like a wee anchor on behind it. It's old school style. It's pretty cool.
It's nice, man. So do you sketch them when you go in, or they just
I just Instagram pretty much.
Aye, that's the best way, isn't it?
Sat through the whole night just looking at tattoos, ideas.
Great, right, mate. Just to go back to Cage Warriors 98. How about that main event, Ross Houston, man? What a fight! Hairy moment, though, when he got rocked away.
Yes, I was in the crowd obviously at that point, and honestly, like, everybody went a bit silent. Everybody's like,
big
because
breath in.
we thought the fight was ready to get stopped. It looked like it was about to get stopped, but fair play for Ross, man. He's an absolute warrior. He went ahead.
Really
he got up and recovered really well and won the fight. It was great.
Aye. Incredible, man. Incredible night of fights, actually. I mean, pardon the pun. I know they say, like, Jack Shaw's on fire, but Cage Warriors, man, the Cage Warriors is on fire at the moment. Yeah. Cage Warriors doing really well. And you're right in the thick of it, Scott, and you've persevered in this game of pullouts, man. Most of your pro career, it's fucking ridiculous. Perseverance, determination, it's a great thing, man, and a lot of people should, you should be, you're an inspiration for sure. If not, you should be. A lot of young guys, might get fed up, frustrated, whatever. I would just say, well, look at Scott Malone, man. Perseverance, determination pays off.
Stopping, no matter how many setbacks you get, you're always, if you've got a goal, then who's to stop you? You know what I mean? No matter how many setbacks.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Wishing nothing but the best, my friend. Finally, I just want to offer you the floor to shout out sponsors, training partners, family, friends, anyone you like, mate. It's all yours.
I'd like to thank, first of all, just my wife and my kids. Just because they put up with me, obviously, being in fight camp, and I'm a bit of a moan when I'm in fight camp. I've also got like 3,000 sponsors that I'm trying to find right now because
so many people love you, mate. That's what it is.
That's what it is, man. I just where are they?
Oh no, Hellcat's away a big one. I can't wait to get one of these t-shirts, man.
Hellcat graphics. I've got Scran Fitness Food. Who else have we got? Man, why can I not find this? Lost them. I've lost them all. I had them down in my notes. How they are. So I've got Scan Fitness Food. That they're actually. I'm genuinely not saying this, but their food is absolutely amazing and it's all healthy. It gets delivered to your door. You can also go into their shop and buy the stuff, which is really good. Skyline Scaffold. Been through this before, but it's my brother's company. He sponsors me. He gives me days off and stuff, which when I need to, which is great. Python Fighting. That's the gear I've got. He's actually just messaged me like literally before I came on here. He's asking me to be an ambassador for the brand.
Nice.
So
nice one.
That'll be great. So I'll be able to get a link to that soon. Hellcat Graphics, once mentioned before. I want to say thanks to Kings Fight Management, because they've done actually loads for me. I mean, without them, I would not actually be fighting for Cage Warriors in the first place. Dundee Mixed Martial Arts, obviously. CBD Brothers, that keeps me off the CBD, which is great. A few other just local guys that have helped me. Dungeon, the Dapper Gent, and last but not least is Enhanced Sport Performance, who does all my strength and conditioning. Honestly, never been stronger since I got with Adam. He's actually amazing. And that's pretty much all the ones.
Nice one. Boom Boom Malone, always a pleasure, mate. Best of luck at Cage Warriors 100, my friend. Hello, welcome to
thank you very much, mate.
Podcast. On the episode, we'll continue with the coverage and build. Cage Warriors 100 takes place Saturday the 8th of December. I'm pleased to say, joining us at this time, Northern Ireland's own Skeletor, Rhys McKee. Rhys, how you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. Thank you very much for having me on. It's my debut on your show, so...
That's it, man. Debut on a show, and we're seeing you making the transition. Bama to Cage Warriors. I don't know how much you can tell us, but how did you know, or when did you know things were going to be switching promotions for me, and how you feeling about it all, mate?
I pretty much knew Bama were in trouble when everybody else knew. That's kind of how I knew, and as cliche as it sounds, I knew about Cage Warriors as soon as you knew, really. Like maybe a few hours. It was a very quick deal and very quick release, so I think our side was excited with the deal, and as were Cage Warriors, so here we are.
Oh, fair play, mate, fair play. And there's a few, quite a lot of European talent sort of coming in at the same time as yourself, mate. It's exciting times for promotion, and I guess the most obvious question is, how are you feeling going into this fight at 100, and how are you getting the rounds in at Next Gen, mate?
I'm flying. I kind of knew I would have to be ready, because I thought if I wasn't in Cage Warriors, I'd have to take a European fight short notice, so I was getting ready anyway. And then Cage Warriors gave me another 5 weeks on top of that. So I'm ready. I'm ready to go. It's just buzzing, man. To be honest, there's a lot of hype. I feel very fresh this time. It's been a while since I've had a fight, so it's exciting.
Yeah, definitely. It's good to keep on the momentum in it and keep yourself sharp in the game for sure. Let's talk a wee bit about Jefferson George, because the Englishman, I mean, he brings a fair old bit of experience, nice bit of momentum for yourself, takes you into this fight, of course. But how do you rate the Northampton fighter, and what kind of threats do you see that he possesses, mate?
He's a serious fighter. You know, he's no joke. I think a lot of people will look at his record and look past it. You know, he's 8-6, but he's some guys on that record. But I'm one guy that's definitely not taking him light. I think his biggest attribute is how different we see Jefferson each time. You know, he comes to fight a different style every time, and he's very dynamic, and that's something I'm excited for because I also am one of them fighters. So it's all good in that front.
Yeah, I know. It's the modern day MMA, innit? Like, I hear we were covering the last Cage Warriors we covered was Soren back and Paddy Pimlet feature, and it's like people were saying, "Oh, this is the wrestling guy versus the jiu-jitsu guy," and I'm like, those days are over, man. You need to be like kind of what you're saying there, Rhys. You need to be all facets of the game, right? That's the era we're in now.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like, them days are gone where it was like boxer v grappler and the boxer wore gloves. You know, like them days are gone now. If you're not a martial artist, you're going to get exposed very, very quick. And that's something I think in this fight with me and Jefferson is nobody can truly say that, oh, it's going to be this, or this type of fight. Who knows?
Yeah, that's what makes it a beautiful sport, I suppose. Rhys McKee training, that's a page I see on your timeline. Is that personal training you offer out at Next Gen, or is this something you've opened up independently, mate?
Yeah, so I run a gym. I run a gym in a town close to Next Gen. It's very much though it's not where I train. It's kind of where I take a lot of personal training, a lot of groups, and we also have a little fight team there that's an affiliation with Next Generation. So it's cool, man. It keeps me busy, and you know, it's not really about the money. You know, it's more something to give younger fighters the chance to fight, you know, and that's it. And it gets some of my teammates the chance to coach as well. So it's fantastic for us all. Yeah,
man. I see you do kids classes too as well, eh? Cracking stuff. You get the wee ones in there.
Yeah, I get them. I keep my hands full, you know.
I bet I do. Well, I'm a teacher myself, so I guess my question would be, how do you enjoy that side of things, the teaching, the coaching, and passing on the knowledge?
I love it. You know, I feel my games come on like dramatically since I've started having to explain stuff, and even to the front. You know, if you strip it all back, it goes back to discipline. You know, if they see that I'm disciplined, then they're disciplined. If they see that I'm out on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, well, they're thinking, well, why will I not go out? You know, so it's I love it. But even saying that, I've always been disciplined anyway. But it's good. Fair
play, mate. Good for you. Skeletor, love that nickname, mate. Were you a He-Man fan growing up? What's the story?
I wasn't at all. It's only when I used to make 145, I used to look like Death, and when I make 155, I look like Death. So I quickly was on Skeletor, and it just kind of stuck, even though I filled out a wee bit. But
that's it, man. That nutritionist got a lot to answer for. Fair play, mate. Sticking with the name, good for you, man. Rhys, I hate asking this next question, but I feel like I've got to do my duty, I guess. Because I never want anyone to look too far ahead, right? But after George, if you get the W, what does the future hold? What's in store for Rhys McKee in 2019, mate?
So I think if this fight goes away, I'm presuming it will go. I have to be looking at someone who's in very close to title contention or very close to on their way to that. You know, that's where I want to be at. I'm not going to spend another 5 fights getting close to the title. I want the title inside the next 2 or 3 fights. So the next fight has to be a considerable fight. You know, this fight is massive, as you said. I'm not looking past it in any shape or form. And this 8th of December is the biggest night of my life at the minute. So until we get there, but that is what I want after.
No, fair play, mate. That's awesome. Rhys, an absolute pleasure getting your time here on the podcast. So before I let you go, I just want to offer you the floor to shout out any sponsors or associates, family, friends, anyone you like, Rhys. It's all yours, mate.
Just everybody, man. Anybody that knows me or talks to me or trains with me or under me or any of that good stuff. Just appreciate all the support and enjoy the journey. Enjoy the next one.
Rhys, Skeletor, McKee, thanks again for your time, mate. Best of luck at Cage Warriors, my friend.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Hello, welcome to Martial Arts Chat Podcast. On this episode, we'll continue with the coverage and build. Cage Warriors 100 takes place Saturday the 8th of December in Cardiff, and I'm pleased to say we have returning to the show Wales' own Aaron Khalid. Aaron, how you doing, sir?
No, I'm not too bad, mate. How are you?
Cracking, man. Cracking. Last time we spoke, my friend, we've seen your hands raised twice. Finishes over Jordan James, Jamie Richardson. Good solid victories, mate. Just close up in your recent times, Aaron. How's MMA world treating you, mate?
Good, mate. Good. Everything seems to be falling into place better than usual for this camp now. My diet's coming, my weight's coming off nice. My striking's coming along good. My strength, my grappling. and mainly my confidence. My confidence in my own abilities to stand and not panic so much on the feet. It seems to be coming along greatly.
What do you think that is? What would you attribute that to? Everything falling together in the right place.
My teammates, my coaches, all helping out, giving me like that little mental kind of boost, and I think travelling away to Amsterdam helped a lot as well.
Nice, you were out in the dam. What was
Being in
happening?
like an unknown area, unknown people, and having to perform.
Yeah,
I think that helped a lot.
Is that something you've done before? I didn't realise you've been out in Amsterdam. Is that?
Oh yeah, I went out there for my camp against Jordan James.
Nice.
And I went out there for a couple of weeks against for my camp for Jamie.
And was there anything you're changing up from back home? Was it like when
I
you
went to Mike's gym in Amsterdam, which is purely stand up.
Right, yeah. I thought I was going to say my next question would have been like Amsterdam. As soon as you think of just kickboxing, really.
Yeah,
But
it was just purely stand up.
And you felt the benefit from it, aye.
Just to try and sharpen my striking up and help mentally push myself to get comfortable using my hands.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I mean, after 97, Cage Warriors 97, that we were speaking a wee bit just off air there. I thought you were all matched for Rage. So just maybe clues up on how things changed and how you ended up for Cardiff, back at Cardiff for Cage Warriors, mate.
I got matched on Rage before I got matched on this show now, because we didn't know this show was going to happen. This show got announced after I was already matched, so I'm not the type of person that wants to pull out of fights.
Yeah.
So we were like, I'm an RN, but then Ian approached us with a deal and we accepted it, and we had to pull from the Rage fight to not risk getting injured.
Aye.
So yeah, and it's a bigger platform for me, so it benefits me more than fighting on Rage.
Simple as, really.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got to look after not just you, but anyone in your situation has got to think of the bigger picture, really. And
every fight is their own business, isn't they? So they got to try and run themselves and make themselves better.
Especially when you're on this nicely we run now, two rows of victories. You don't want to put that in as much. You obviously want to test yourself and you want to keep that momentum going, like anyone does. But you don't want to rock that boat too much, right?
Yeah, especially on like a smaller platform than Cage Warriors 100.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Biggest and most important question here, Aaron. How was wee man's birthday party?
Elijah's, he was good. He enjoyed it. He had a good day. He got spoiled by his mum. His mum spoiled him.
Birthday number 3, yeah? Birthday number 3, 3-year-old you got?
Yeah, his third birthday. But it's just crazy. He's 3, but we still treat him like I still treat him like my little baby.
Yeah.
The same with my 7-year-old, and he's always having a go at me. I'm not the baby. You're my baby.
How did they feel about their dad stepping inside the cage and stuff? Are they pretty clued up on that, or?
The 7-year-old is. 7-year-old, he knows a bit about it and stuff and watches some stuff and knows. Yeah. But the 3-year-old has no idea. He has no clue.
Would you mind if at some point in their life they, maybe not in the cage, but in the mats, martial arts, that kind of thing, have you got that in mind for them?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind there. I'd like him if they went into judo or wrestling or jiu-jitsu, something like that. Somewhere they, because when little kids fight, they grab each other a lot, don't they? More than just actually, they don't stand there and tee off.
Some of them have got better grips than others at that age.
They grab and push each other.
Yeah, that's it, man. My wee boy kicked me in the nuts the other day. Jesus Christ, you thought Shogun had stomped on me, man. It was agony. I was buckled over. Yeah. But yeah, that's nice to hear, man. Was judo I know that was part of Lou Long, one of your training partners. Is judo part of something in your life, early age? Were you a traditional martial artist?
No, I started off as doing karate.
Bit of karate guy.
And then I went into boxing. Didn't really catch that too much, and then just went straight into MMA.
It's crazy,
man. But I've always been a fan of judo. I really enjoy it. I like the throws and trips from the clinches and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, man. It's one martial art just for me that I'd love to. I need to base about with more in judo. Like being a jiu-jitsu guy, there's only so many guard pulls you can do. You know what I mean? Like I just want that sweep, baby. I just want that nice single takedown.
And it does feel good when you get a good sweep or trip.
Definitely, man.
You throw your opponent, it's like, that felt good.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get back to Cage Warriors and to your opponent, Hackenforce. 2-2 since signing the promotion. Simple question, mate. What do you make of the team Hellboy fighter? How do you rate your opponent? What do you make of Hacken?
He's dangerous everywhere. He could grapple. He's got a judo base. He's coming from front line, academy in Norway. They've got a good, strong grappling team. He can strike as well, by the looks of it. Very dangerous with his elbows and knees from inside the clinch. Tall, rangy opponent. I think it's a good fight for me. It's a good test for me as well to showcase more of my skills, which I haven't showcased before in the cage. So I have to just come out the gate raring.
One thing I want to bring up, I hate bringing this up, man, because I know we spoke about it before, and it's alright to have a laugh amongst lads. But Lewis Long, you don't probably know what's coming. Lewis Long had mentioned before about, Aaron, man, see if he could just bother his ass to get out of that first round. Like, I don't want to say that's a criticism of yours, but like, when you go for it heavy in that first round, man, like, is that just going to be your style forevermore?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to be like that against Foss. I mean, the two losses which I've watched him with Jamie and Craig, they both come out the gate really quick against him, and they kind of set Foss's will to shit. So I'm going to have to try and copy that.
And it's not a knock, by the way. I hope you're not like thinking like I'm having a go at it. And I love your style, man. No. Absolutely love your style, man. But it's like when I'm watching you, man, I'm like, oh, come on, son, like, ready to keep a bit for round two. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just wanting the best for you, man. But yeah, that's fair play, man. If you recognise something, it's always good to see holes in someone's game.
Yeah,
more power to you, man. Have at it, as far as I'm concerned. It should be a cracking contest. How's that crazy training part of yours, Lou Long? Anyway, will we see him?
He's good. He's good. He's coming along great now since he signed with Bellator. He's like reheated a fire in him. Yeah. Is he set to make a debut anytime soon? Have we got a word? I think early next year, possibly.
Nice.
February, January, sometime. He's matched on Polaris the day after Cage Warriors, so he's grappling a hell of a lot recently. So that helps me as well.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. What a training partner you have, man. Used to imagine complement each other very well. I know you fought for Cage Warriors in Wales many a time, Newport, Cardiff, but I guess this is a bigger show because it's the 100th show, obviously in Cardiff as well, but a centenary show, you'll have home support, Aaron. What does all that mean to you, mate?
Massive. It's like, at first when they got matched, I was like, it's just closer for me to travel, which, you know, more relaxed on fight day and stuff, but walking out against Jamie and seeing like all the crowd and cheering for you is a great push. It does mean a lot, like all the support you have. It's crazy.
A lot of people say it's like, you know, like in football they say it's like the 12th man or whatever, that like it pushes them. You feel the same, yeah?
Yeah, you can feel it.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Hey, Aaron, massive thank you again for coming back on. Just before I let you go, mate, please just shout out any sponsors or associates or affiliates. Anyone you like, mate. It's all yours.
All the people I train with at the mat. Cheers to all them. Cheers to Lou, my girlfriend, for putting up with me, being snappy when dieting and stuff. My family, friends, all the support I get, all the sponsors, they know they are. Like, I have pretty much the same sponsors for almost every fight, so they all stick by me, which is great.
Superb, man. And all the best at Cage Warriors, mate, and we'll catch up again soon, bro.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
Looking ahead to this cracking night of fights with the panel here today, and later on we'll be answering your fan questions. Thanks to those who got in touch at Martial Arts Chat on Facebook. To the panel here this evening, first up from the Daily Record, always a pleasure to have him on. It's my man, Mr. Tom Heffernan. Tom, how you doing, mate?
Not bad at all, John. Not bad. Thanks for having me on once again.
Pleasure.
Always a highlight in my weekend.
This helps a hangover for sure, mate.
Sure does.
From MMA UK, the greatest thing to come out of Welsh MMA, well, aside from Jack Shaw, it's Mr. Lewis Smith. Lewis, how are you doing, sir?
Evening, guys. Good. All good. Happy to be on.
Pleasure, man. Pleasure. Finally, representing Severe MMA, Fox's biggest fan, Mr. Sean Betts. Sean, how are you, sir?
How's it going, boys? You good?
Cracking, man. Awesome stuff. And guys, can I start with someone I just actually wrapped up speaking to, Aaron Khalid, because after back-to-back losses to Ross Houston, the second time for when he stepped in, his injured teammate Lou Long, obviously for that time, but he's been turning things right back around. 2 solid victories, getting the tap of Richardson as well at A7. That goes a long way. Hakim Foss for his troubles here. I'm a wee bit of a sucker for momentum. You could argue that it's in Aaron's favour for momentum. I don't know. Let's see the panel's thoughts. I'll start with Lewis on this one. Lewis, how do you see this welterweight contest going down, sir?
Yeah, it's a brilliant matchup, isn't it? Like you said, I would agree. I think momentum does play a big part in fighting. Aaron obviously took 2 losses to Ross, but I think they were losses that there's no shame in them. Now Ross has sort of validated himself and got that belt. So he's got a title in a lower organisation called Adrenaline down in Wales, and obviously then got to fight a good victory over Jamie Richardson last time. So he's definitely got that hunger back, and I'm really looking forward to seeing Aaron. I think his grappling really is underrated. I know he's primarily a grappler, but I think he's very, very tricky on the ground, and I can see him getting it done with a submission in this one.
And he's wanting to showcase, he was telling me he was out in Amsterdam again, he's wanting to showcase some striking as well, which is, you could argue it's not the biggest part of Aaron's game, but it'd be nice to see if he gets a chance to showcase that. Good scrap all the same, no way. Tom, what about yourself, mate? What's your thoughts on Khalid versus Foss?
I think you've got to take your hat off to him that he bounced back in the way he has.
Aye.
Two really close fought. He took Ross all the way, 2 decisions, but he's bounced back 2 first round stoppages against decent guys, Jordan James and Jamie Richardson, but a ground and pound and a submission as well. So it does show you he's got everything there. He can submit, he can finish guys with his fists, and I don't know, man. I don't know whether he's just got a new lease of life now, and somebody mentioned there, Lewis mentioned about the momentum, which is a big thing because that builds your confidence, and that is all about confidence when you get in there. So I don't know much about the guy he's fighting other than that he calls himself Death. Hack on Death Foss, what a name. So who are you fighting on Saturday? A guy called Death. But I just had a wee sort of look at his record and stuff like that. He's just finished a guy in the first round as well, but he had 2 losses before that. Craig White being one of them in Cage Warriors. And
Thundercat.
Everybody's dangerous, but I just think this is a nice match-up for Aaron that he'll be able to go in there and get that third strike, and then it really all comes down. Third strike is in, third win. It just really comes down to what happens with Ross, whether Ross vacates, goes to the UFC, maybe Aaron will be sitting looking for that belt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he'll certainly do himself a lot of favours with a victory, won't it? Finally, Sean, give me your thoughts on this fight and the welterweight division, mate.
I mean, I'm side with what the guys are saying. I'd have to say Aaron Khalid's probably got the better pedigree. Hakan Foss not been in the cage for 6 months. Aaron's been really busy.
Yeah.
Talking about his past fights, Adam Proctor's a guy that I rate really highly, and he got the win over him. The Ross are using things you can look over because we've seen how good Ross is. So yeah, I'd be taking Aaron Khalid in this fight all day long.
Fair play, mate. Fair play. So many Welsh fighters on this Cardiff card, and another Welshman, Josh Reid, get Scotland's own Boom Boom Malone. You can't talk about Josh Reid without mentioning that crazy fight over Nathaniel Wood, man. That was something else. Even though if it was just one round, man, back and forth is how it went. But I'm excited to see how Boom Boom performs here because he gets a tough test, and Josh Reid obviously in front of the Welsh fans as well. I'll start with Tom on this one. Tom, how do you think Malone and Reid goes down, mate?
I think that could be a potential fight tonight. 2 highly skilled guys, Josh is super aggressive. He's got some nice finishes, and he's certainly one of these guys that brings it. He comes forward and he wants to try and take people's heads off. But Scott's just a different level, I think. He's got that absolute phenomenal grappling background. He's a 2 times Commonwealth judo champion, and he's now got a couple of fights in the big stage under his belt. So if there was any nerves, they'll have gone because he's been there and done that now. Super impressive. Probably the fight his life the last time. Performance his life in the last fight there, which wasn't that long ago. I think it was just back
barely a month removed. Aye, that's right.
Aye. So fair play to him to get back in there, and again, we still talk about his momentum.
Yeah.
If you're riding the crest of a wave, then absolutely. And the thing about Scott is, I think he's actually a killer in that division. I think he can go in there, and I think he'll do the job here in this one. And I genuinely think if he wins this one, it's got to be a title shot next.
He's in the mix for sure. He's just had horrendous luck with pullouts, man. He's the most experienced guy that's inexperienced in terms of his record. But it's going to be such an exciting scrap because of styles make matches, like you said, man. And this is going to be a clash of styles for sure. Lewis, how about you? Your thoughts on Malone versus Reid here, mate?
I'm actually so buzzing for this fight. I can't pick a winner because I'm going back and forth so much. I think everything we just said about Scott, it's completely right. He's got amazing pedigree with his judo. Obviously, he's been able to keep an alpha male training as well, which is really I mean, you saw in his last fight, he went for the takedowns a lot. He's known for his grappling, but when you're thinking that much about the grappling, then he's got hands now as well, and he can finish you with the hands. So this is going to be a really great fight. I think it's not just kind of a grappler versus striker because he's got good hands as well as good grappling. And I also think Josh Reid has got underrated grappling. He's got a purple belt in jiu-jitsu with Richard Shaw, a very, very good wrestler. And obviously we've seen what he can do with his hands. He loves to fight. He loves to come forward. So, I mean, it really can go either way for me. I honestly can't give back so much on it. But one thing I will agree on with Tom is that I think this is the potential fight of the night.
Fight of the night, man. It's 2 in a row. What about you, Sean? Give us your thoughts on this bantamweight fight.
Well, I'm going to upset someone here, and I've got to pick between Scotland and Wales. So, look, I'm going to give it to you, Scottish boys. I think you've got a real sort of prospect here. I think he could be the real deal in the future. This guy, coming off the win in Birmingham against Amasinga.
Yeah,
I know how good Adam is. Do you know what I mean? And Malone made it look really, really easy on the night. Josh Reid, like you say, his fight with Nathaniel was absolutely amazing. But I just think if Reid pushes forward like he did against Nathaniel, I think Scott's going to get hold of him and that judo is going to come into play. So, my pick for that fight would be Scott. Sorry, the Welsh.
Fair play, mate.
No politics needed. As long as we get a great fight, I think we'll all be happy.
Yeah, no, fair play, mate. Fair play.
Do you know what I think? I spoke to, sorry, just to nip in again, John, but I spoke to Scott last week about his fight. I did a wee interview with him, and he was really motivated for this one. And I think he, I'm happy to put this out there, but I think he will be, after Ross Houston, the next guy in the UFC for Scotland. I think he's that good. I think he's that capable. And the guys at King's Fighter Management don't sign up guys that they don't believe in. And I really do think Scott has got a massive future. And Cage Warrior is just the start of it. And I'll eat my hat if he's not in the UFC in a year or so.
Get yourself a nice hat, just in case. That's it, mate. Let's move on, guys, because we've got Rhys Skeleton McKee. I finally had the pleasure of interviewing for the first time now. He's made the jump from Bama here. He was pretty open about all it when I spoke to him. Bama not in great shape these days. We'll maybe get to that later because that's part of our fan questions. But let's have a look at McKee here because he gets the experience Jefferson George. He told me he's looking to make a quick impact, get something early in 2019. Obviously, we'll see how it goes down. But let's get the thoughts of the panel. I'll start with Sean this time. Sean, what's your thoughts when McKee takes on George here?
I want to say a little bit about Jefferson first. I've seen Jefferson fight since his amateur days, really, up and around my neck of the woods. And I've got to say, he's been hit and miss through his career. But the last 2 times I've seen him, he's been absolutely outstanding. So I think Rhys has got a really tough fight ahead of him. Rhys McKee, always bang for buck. I can see this being, like I say, Jefferson's very sort of flashy the way he fights, and a great striker. And I think Rhys's boxing is very tight. This for me is definitely a potential part of the night.
Nice, man. Probably a good shout. Lewis, what are your thoughts? McKee, George?
So, I would agree. I think Jefferson is definitely looking, like he's on a bit of form at the moment. I actually was at Rhys's last fight in Bama for London. Obviously, he took a loss at Ty Brazier, so I think he's the kind of guy, he trains out in Northern Ireland with Norman Park, and he's going to be the kind of guy that's going to light the fire under him. So I think I'm going to go for Rhys on this one, just because I think, with fighters a lot of the time, you see them take a loss and that can kind of break them and put them on a bit of a downward spiral. But I think Rhys has got that kind of mental strength where you'll want to bounce back and really make a statement. So it's a great fight. Love the matchup. Both guys are really, really talented. But I can see Rhys just pinching this one.
Finally, Tom, what are your thoughts on this lightweight fight, mate?
I'm going to say with Lewis here. I think Rhys will be so disappointed to lose that last fight. I think he's going to, he's been backed into a corner. I think he's going to come back out and look to really, really dominate this fight here. Jefferson's a super experienced guy, but he has got a lot of losses in his card. And I know Sean said that he's looked really good in his last couple of fights. In fact, he's on a 3-fight win streak. But I'm not sure. I just think Rhys, he's on the next level, I think, to Jefferson, and I think he's going to come back out and show what all the hype was about, because there was a bit of hype about him. Mm-hmm. And I can see Rhys coming out and submitting him probably I'm actually going to say the first round, to be honest. I think it's going to be straightforward.
This is a new start for Rhys as well. Obviously coming over from Bama, they were doing some great. And now he's going to Cage Warriors, the biggest organisation in Europe. So I think he's going to sort of look to want to push up and make a statement in Cage Warriors, I think, for that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's fought the majority of his career in Bama, so he's no stranger to that environment. Again, it's going to be straightforward transition to move over to Cage Warriors, and I think it maybe gave him a wee extra nudge, a wee bit of extra motivation and desire to go in there and get back on track.
Absolutely. Guys, let's talk main event. Cage Warriors 100, we've got 2 undefeated fighters here for the bantamweight belt. Jack Shore is on fire, that's what they say in Wales, isn't it? And this fight's in Wales, but it's got everyone a fan good one, not just Welsh fans, fans around the world. It's whetting the appetite, man. Let's hear the thoughts. We'll start with Lewis this time. Lewis, who's walking out Cage Warriors bantamweight champion for you, mate?
Again, it's such a tight call. We've got 2 guys who I really think are the best 2 domestic bantamweights at the moment. For me, though, I'm going to go for Jack Shore. I think the pay match up so well, that's why it's difficult to call. But I think what's going to come down to is the preparation, and I think Jack Shore prepares so well for these fights. He's so methodical the way he prepares. I know he's got a great team at Tulare Combat with Josh Reed, Chris Edwards, all a lot of good bantamweights there. But I know he's been going down to Chris Reed's Academy and getting some training with Brett Johns for this one as well. So for me, that's a very good it's a very good standpoint to go for the best guy in the country at the moment, which Brett Johns obviously is the highest ranked British bantamweight. And for me, that's why I see him walking out with this belt. It's going to be a factor that can have a crowd on his side as well. He's hundreds of fans with him. So he's used to having the bright lights. I think Cage Warriors 97 was a bit of a trial run for this, which he'll probably be happy for now. And it's going to be close. I've got a lot of respect for Mike Eckendale. He's such a good wrestler, undefeated. But I think Jack Shore by decision.
When I saw Mike fight Ed Arthur, I was stunned just how easily he could control Arthur on the ground, man. That blew me away, because I've seen one of the features we did in the podcast years ago was Ed Arthur and Shea Walsh, and we followed Ed, and then we got a chance to meet him at ACB, King Ed Arthur was a guy we were buzzing for, and just to see a guy like that control him, and Mike looks like a big guy for bantamweight, but then you've got this Jack Shore's on fire. It's in Wales, man. It's absolutely buzzing. And if Jack Shore, like you said, Lewis, if he's getting the rounds in with Brett Johns, not just for one of the best guys in the country, but for grappling as well, especially for this fight, man, that's going to go a long way for sure.
Well, Brett's on the Polaris card the next day as well, so I think that gives you an indication how good Brett's grappling is. And I think they are a little bit similar, the way Brett wrestles and the way Mike wrestles. So I think it's definitely a good preparation for Jack to be sparring down with Brett. Like I said, we never know, because Mike he's such a talented guy, and they both obviously ride. We said about momentum earlier; they both ride in momentum. So I mean, this is going to be very close. But I can just see Jack Shore taking this one.
It's these Welsh folks picking Welsh folk. It's ridiculous, man.
You would never catch me doing that.
Never. You would never pick a Welshman, of course you wouldn't. Sean, how about you, mate? Who takes home the gold in this one for you, brother?
It's almost a pity we've got to see this fight as people that follow UK MMA, because I think they both got UFC in the future. Yeah. So someone's going to take a step forward to that, and someone's going to take a bit backwards from that. But Jack Shore's a superstar. I've been to see him fight in Wales. It's amazing. It's a great atmosphere. It's almost like Nathaniel Wood, Paddy Pimblett sort of levels of hysteria when you see him fight. But again, I feel like I'm picking against the Welsh. I just think Eckendale's one of them guys that can spoil a fight, and he's got a way to beat pretty much anyone in the UK right now. A bit of a like a Cameron Usman type person. He's probably not the most spectacular of fighters, but he finds a way to win.
Yeah.
He gets that top game, gets the top control, and nullifies what people can do. It's all going to be. I expect this fight to go to the ground. I expect Ekindeo to be on top. It's whether Jack can pull off a sub.
Yeah, that could be it. Exactly, man. That could be what it comes down to, because I'm the same. I highly expect this to be on the ground and him just using that control. Yeah, you're probably quite right, mate. Tom, give us your thoughts on the main event just to wrap things up before we go to 5 questions. Who do you see taking home the gold, mate?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I think we've got two guys that are really comfy everywhere, probably a bit more comfy on the floor, so that usually means it'll be a stand-up war. But I think both guys, I can see why it would go to a decision, because both guys are really hard guys to outmaneuver on the ground. They're hard to clip on the chin. Both of them are undefeated, which is testament to that. They've beat good guys, Ed Arthur's on that list, and so is Von Lee, who was in the UFC for a wee bit. I hope Jack Shore wins. Nothing against either guys, and I don't really care who wins, really, but I quite fancy Jack Shore to win, because that would make it really interesting when he fights Scott Malone for the belt.
That's 2 picks in one there.
And me and Lewis can go at it on the belt thing.
Tremendous. I pay to see that as well. Pay to see that more than Chuck and Tito, but maybe get that later on as well. Guys, we've reached the final part of the show, and it's my favourite answering fan questions. I'll just remind the panel of the one rule we have in the podcast, and it's simply don't wait your turn. The floor is your guys, so if you're ready, we'll start with, it's only Twitter questions that came in this week, so we'll do Twitter, and it's at Else for Elf, who says, so Paddy Pimblett was announced and then quickly withdrawn. What exactly happened, and will he be on the next Liverpool card?
I think he got an injury. I think he's going to have an operation. And I'm not sure what it was, but I know they're going to be rearranging his fight with Desmay, so I don't know if that's going to be on the Liverpool card, but there is one of those coming up, so I would imagine that could be a possibility.
Yeah, it's his. Paddy's got a fucked hand. I'm all right swearing here.
Fire away.
Yeah, his hand's knackered. Bless him. But yeah, I'd assume Paddy's going to be on the Liverpool card. Having Paddy fight outside Liverpool is like, fucking going McDonald's and having a salad. Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
When is the Liverpool card? Is it early next year? I didn't see it.
Not a clue without looking.
I think it's February, I want to say, off the top of my head. I know they've got a couple of Cage Warriors cards in.
Yeah, they announced a few, yeah. Aye.
So I would think he'll probably headline out one of those ones.
Yeah, it makes sense to have him live. I get why they want to do it for centenary show, but you've got it in Wales, man. You've got Jack Shore. That's plenty to be selling tickets. I would have thought, no, you don't need a Paddy Pimblett on this card. Save him for another day. Anyway, let's move on. We've got at Jess Action. I really thought Rhys McKee was going to get the call to the UFC. Surprised he ended up at Cage Warriors. Do you think he's ready for big time?
I think he's potential. He's great potential, but I don't think he's quite got the experience yet. I don't think he's UFC ready. I think he needs to cut his teeth a wee bit more in the Cage Warriors limelight before he makes that move. To be honest, my personal opinion is I don't like to see guys going to the UFC unless they've had gold round their waist at Cage Warriors level or Bama level, or that kind of regional show. European show level, because it's such a tough environment. They really, really need to be at the top of their game before they should be anywhere near the UFC. And top of your game means you need to have won that level of belt first to get in there. So, no, I think let's go out there and win a Cage Warriors belt and then look at UFC.
Maybe if the Brazier fight had gone slightly different, he might have been in with a shout, but coming off the back of a loss, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, that does change it up, you're right.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, guys, as well. I think the way Brazier handled him, it doesn't bode well for him jumping straight into the UFC. I think he needs to kind of cut his teeth a little bit more at this level, like Tom said, and then, once he's got that experience, go up.
Fair enough. Let's see, we've got at Eat Shit Whistle Stick. Not going to get him. Has Bama folded?
I'll jump in on this one.
Go for it.
Because we got in some trouble a few years back when Cage Warriors took a sabbatical, shall we say. We did a podcast and got in a bit of trouble for airing that out. But for me, you know, they've lost their sort of main man in Jude Samuel to Bellator, and I think a couple of the Bama big chiefs have gone over to Bellator as well. So I don't see where they go. Bellator have signed up all the talent in the UK that Cage Warriors ain't got. So to me, like, I mean, if you can throw some names out who could fight on a Bama card, I'd like to hear them.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right. Do you know what? I think it all seemed to go a bit pear-shaped for Bama when they took that sort of time out to go and get safe MMA ready. You know, remember ACB sort of appeared on the scene, Cage Warriors resurgence, and Bama sort of stepped back, cancelled a couple of shows, and they introduced the safe MMA. I don't know if that's a coincidence or not, but you know, it just seems to be coincidental. That was 2 years ago now, and they've never recovered since. I don't think they've put on a Bama show of note since. No, they have put a show on, but I just don't think it's been quite the same since.
Well, their last show in London, it was very much aired for ITV, and it was geared for that because there was absolutely no crowd sort of atmosphere. It was literally all kind of aimed for the TV, and I think that would the show suffer because if you don't get the atmosphere, you don't get the fan stuff, you don't have the show either way. So it didn't turn out as being the greatest card. Also, we had a good main event in Brazier and McKee, but the card was pretty terrible other than that. And they did the undercard, which was 3 fights. Then they took a break for like 2 hours while they aired the England-Colombia game. So anyone who was there left to watch football. Great match that was. It kind of ruined the MMA night though.
Nah, it's a pity. Like I said, when we lost Cage Warriors, it was a big hole in UK MMA for a little bit. They bounced back. They were, you know, bigger and stronger than ever now, and they're sending people to the UFC, you know, more than anyone ever has in the UK. I don't want a big Bama-shaped hole, but I think we're going to have to deal with that. And well, hopefully we get a few more sort of KSWs, maybe ACB. I know they're on a rocky time at the minute, but, you know, hopefully someone can come and fill them venues.
Well, it's funny you say that because at Lily_Lair follows up with is/has ACB folded.
No, they've not folded. They've just sort of took time out on their European invasion, I think, or Western European invasion. We've seen so many. Obviously, Scotland was one of the first ones they tried to crack. Didn't quite happen in terms of ticket sales. It was always going to be a tough ask because not many sort of casual fans know who ACB are. It would only be the real hardcore guys, and they do things a bit different. You know, the less show, more fight sort of thing. Which, to be honest, I think the casual fan needs a bit of Bruce Buffer, needs a bit of razzmatazz and excitement. You know, it was just relentless fight after fight after fight after fight. There was no time to go to the toilet or you missed a fight. There was no time to go to the bar for a pint or you missed a fight. I just don't think it translated to our style. I know it's very big over in Russia and Eastern Europe, and I think they've just decided, you know what, that's where we're big and that's where we'll stay.
Yeah, I have heard a few rumours what's going on over there, but, you know, it's run by far too many scary Russians for me to say anything.
Same. I feel the exact same.
I just point out I absolutely love ACB.
I think you should.
I just hope ACB and Bama could both stay around. I mean, I know it's unlikely that Bama. Well, I won't say unlikely, but it's looking like Bama might not. But like I said, I think for British MMA, it's great to have both these organisations on the scene. So hopefully both of them can pull through. Like we said, Cage Warriors folded at one point, but came back stronger. So who knows?
Yeah. Now, do you know, the one thing I will say is that anybody that I know that fought on ACB cards had absolutely nothing but positive things to say about them in terms of the production, how they were dealt with, and all the rest of it. You know, they're a very professional outfit in terms of how they treat the fighters and stuff like that. So I don't know why the tickets didn't sell the way they should.
It's different. I went to the Nottingham show earlier this year, and some of my mates come along and I told them how good the card was. The card was absolutely ridiculous, like probably the best card other than this Cage Warriors 100 card on paper this year.
Right.
But the fights just didn't turn out that way. There was barely anyone there. Some of my mates were looking at me like, why have you invited us to this fight show? It's just how it turns out sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah. And saying that though, the one at Glasgow, like I know it didn't sell out, but still a lot of people turned up. I still think like just because I was there, like I wish they closed like that top tier and stuff and brought the fans close to the cage. It would have made them more intimate. Because okay, we didn't get 10,000 people, it wasn't a sellout, but there was a couple of thousands. You could have done something. Do you know what I mean? Like just better management would have sorted that. And I think the fights were alright.
Do you know the only thing? The fight card I thought was great for Glasgow. Some great names.
Saul Rogers.
Saul Rogers. I think the problem there was the actual date, because it was 6 days before a sold out Hydro for Ricky Burns. It was on the same day as Celtic and Rangers were playing and things like that. I just think the actual date that they booked it was the wrong date, and I think that was the biggest problem, because it wasn't the card, it wasn't the fighter, it wasn't the venue, it wasn't the production. It might just have been because it was all sort of put together in about 8 weeks, but there was other things happening on that day, and fight fans had already bought their Ricky Burns tickets and things like that. So
true, Ricky Burns is a big deal for that.
I don't know. I think it was maybe a gamble that folk didn't want to take. In hindsight, they probably regretted that because it was a great show.
Well, Paddy Pimley told me that they pay people in shoe boxes and euros, but that was because he was talking about Brendan Loughlin. I don't know if that's actually true or not. We'll see anyway. Let's move on. Alan Cunningham, 89. I think Houston should take one more Cage Warriors fight before moving on. Maybe Cage Warriors Scotland in the new year. Will it happen, guys?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it would be great to get a Cage Warriors event up in Scotland. I think it's been on the cards for a while. I don't think they've got anything booked in, but if you're going to get one up there, I think it would be a great time to do it and have your champion headline our event. I know I spoke to Ross after his last fight. He definitely wants to headline an event for Cage Warriors up there, but ultimately I think if the UFC comes calling, he's going to have to go. So it's in the balance. I would like to see it happen, but I don't know. I can see Ross going before he defends the belt.
Yeah, see, there's always the danger that you lose, and if Ross loses a title defence, then it sets him back about 4 fights. And he's currently in his strongest position to get a UFC call up, being undefeated tonight and the champ. So he's got to sit and wait in that phone ringing, rather than just sort of have that prestige headline. And I think a UFC call up, my UFC fight sits just a notch ahead of headlining in Glasgow for me. It's where the fighters want to be. It's where they've always dreamt to be in as a UFC. Cage Warriors, I think, would come up anyway. I think we've got Scott Malone, Paul McBain, Aidan Stephen, and another couple of other guys that are capable of being on that card. So I think it would still do well without Ross.
100%. I think Scott Malone, if he gets the win at 100, could definitely bring a title fight to Scotland. No issues.
Plus, it is on the cards. I have asked him. Well, when I say it's on the cards, he said it's on the table for discussion, whereas previously it wasn't. So there's been progress.
Fair enough. Let's take one more for Twitter before we wrap up, guys. At Lloyd_Bar asks, what do you guys make of Nathan Grayson not cutting to flyweight and Cage Warrior stripping him of the title? I think he was shook over the Brexit deal. Can't blame him.
I mean, I think a lot of it, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know if it had something to do with the UFC cutting the flyweight division. I'm sure I read an article that said he didn't have anything to shoot for, and there was issues with how much Cage Warriors were paying him. I mean, I feel it's a bad move on his part, because there's still a lot of, you've got ONE FC doing well now. You've got this. They still haven't got rid of that division in the UFC either. So, I mean, if it is that, I think that's a poor decision on his part. But ultimately, it could just be that he couldn't make the weight, and called it off before he got.
Yeah, I think it's more likely that too.
Issue.
Yeah.
I'd be watching out for Mr. Jude Samuel signing Mr. Grayson to Bellator in the coming weeks, maybe.
You think so?
Yeah, I think that's where he's going to end up.
Do you think he fights at Cage Warriors again after that?
No.
Pretty much. I mean, Graham Bowen, I saw he was on Twitter. Like, he wasn't too happy about it. Yeah.
No.
It's not good. It's not good. Especially if you get stripped to the title. It's not going to leave you.
What's the story? What's the story with Bellator? Have there anything lined up in the UK or Ireland anytime soon?
Well, they've signed a bunch of European figers, I know that.
No, that's why I'm asking.
No, I know. No, that's what I'm saying.
No dates have been told yet. I know a few of the lads around here that have signed contracts with them, and they're all sort of waiting on fights. But again, I'd assume probably going to be the start of next year. I don't foresee them doing anything before Christmas, unless it's in Ireland.
It's a lot of guys to get matched up, isn't it? They'll all be sitting, jumping at the bit to get in there and earn some cash.
Yeah, I think it's going to be to do with when. Well, again, will they make MVP Paul Daly over here? I've seen this week it's being touted for America, but I just think it makes more sense for it to be over here, and fill the card with loads of UK talent.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I've a quick question for you guys. If we're doing questions, just because I'm Midlands based, so obviously there's a big fight happening at Cage Warriors 100. Dean Truman versus Aidan Lee, both guys from around my neck of the woods. How did you see that one going?
Oh man, Aidan Lee's fuck man. I don't know.
This is another of those ones. It's kind of like the Jack Shorrock and Dale fight because of that tournament. We know they're both the two best guys. The whole time I've been thinking Aidan Lee. His submission game is so strong, and he really looked his striking looked really sharp against McBain. But then Truman is just so slippery, isn't he? He's one of these guys you can't seem to pin down, and he loves a tear up as well. So I don't know. I think that's going to be a really good fight. I'm edging towards Aidan Lee, but I wouldn't like to sort of bet the house on that.
Yeah, I'm not saying Lee's grappling's bad. It's not bad. He got that choke on McBain because he was out. But I take Lewis's point. The reason that McBain was kind of out on his feet was because of the striking. So that's kind of what I'm laying.
I think Dean Truman takes that one.
Interesting. I think it's a good 50-50 fight. Like, again, another one of them fights that I don't really want to see. I've seen them both since their amateur days. And I think they're both more than capable of being in the UFC one day. Yeah. But unfortunately, it's got to happen. So it's a big title as well. It's the Conor McGregor belt, isn't it? It's a big one.
Champ.
Wait, are you making a pick for this one?
No, I won't be making a pick.
What a tease, man. Here, I've got a question then for everybody before we wrap up. Chuck Liddell versus Tito Ortiz, number 4. Do you want to see it?
No.
I'd rather have a salad from McDonald's.
Who would watch number 3, man? 3.
I didn't want to see that one. I didn't want to see the third.
Watched it through my fingers, man.
It was horrible.
I didn't watch it, but I have seen the gifs go around on Twitter, so I have seen the finish. But it's just ridiculous. Should never have happened. Bad for the sport.
Definitely.
We've all seen the footage of Chuck hitting the pads and shadow boxing, and
that was enough. When the shadow won, that was enough.
Honestly, it looked terrible. And even the way he went onto the scales to get weighed in and things like that, he looked as if he was, arthritic or something. You know what I mean? It was like stiff as a board. It was just horrible. And he'd been calling out John Jones and everything, for God's sake. You know what I mean? And
John Jones put a tweet earlier saying that he'll never reply to Chuck calling him out again after that. So I thought that was funny, but yeah, it was sad to see. I mean, Chuck, when we saw the way he beat Tito in the past and the great fights they had, to see him kind of limp around the cage, it was sad. I actually felt kind of guilty watching it. I was glad I didn't buy the pay-per-view. I watched it this morning. But yeah,
that's the thing. I mean, Tito stayed fairly active all those years that Chuck was retired, and he looked actually in great shape yesterday. It was just sad, Chuck Liddell was sort of the guy I looked at. He was the man, sort of UFC hero. The man, he was the one that I made sure I watched. He was the Conor McGregor of the day in terms of getting eyes on the TV. But it was just horrible to see how he finished his UFC career. He was just getting knocked out right, left, and centre, and it was time for him to retire and stay retired. It's horrible.
Do you think he did it because he needed the money, or was it just that he actually had a passion to fight again?
I think probably the higher percentage would be the money.
Yeah, why would you not want to? Why would you want to beat Tito for a third time? You've already proved your point, so it's got to be money, man. There's no reason he stepped.
He lost his job at the UFC, didn't he? You know, he was on that under Zuffa. He was like an ambassador or something like that because he was Dana White's best pal, and he'd given him a job. You know, him and Matt Hughes, I think, as well. They've sort of got some sort of ambassador role, so they would have been earning off of that.
Chris
and then the new guys,
he's another one,
yeah. Chris Weidman, aye, you know. But so he lost his job when they were bought over. So I don't know how good he is at managing his finances, but you wouldn't get in there, surely. At that age.
You've got to be some boy. I mean, like we always say, you know, it's probably for the money and stuff, but, you know, surely most prize fighters are fighting for the money. You've got to be some type of lad to just want to get in there just for the sake of competing at that level. Like, I'm thinking probably like a Mike Perry or someone like that, just someone that's, you know, sandwich short of a picnic, that type of guy. But other than that, it's got to be money on it.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you see, since we're on the subject, did you see the press conference? De La Hoya's press conference?
No, close up.
Before the fight?
Tell us.
Oh, it was horrific, man. It was just, he had all the fighters in the background. He had Chuck and Tito and a decent chunk of the rest of the card. And he stood there and he was rubbing his hands as if it was frozen, and it was like as if they'd pulled somebody out of the crowd and said, right, you take the reins here and you tell everybody how great this is going to be to sell a pay-per-view. And he just sort of stood there and it was like, aim, right, okay, and he was all fingers and thumbs and stutters. And,
no.
It was unbelievable. And you'll need to Google it when we come off this, but it was horrendous. It was car crash stuff. And then he forgot the names of the fighters at the back. He's just like, you know, if anybody wants to, you know, the biggest names in MMA is Chuck and Tito, nobody else, and all this sort of stuff. and we've got the rest of the guys, sorry, I forgot their names. He actually admitted, so sorry, I forgot their names. Honestly, it was horrendous.
Brilliant.
It was absolutely
mediocrity. That's what I love to hear. Nothing like Cage Warriors 100 though, which is obviously trying to bring it home, McElroy. There you have it, guys. Cage Warriors 100 is said to be a cracking show. Can't wait for the night of fights. Let me at this time thank a panel here this evening, starting with Tom Heffernan. Tom, again, thank you for your time, sir.
No worries, thank you, enjoyed it.
Superb, mate. To Mr. Lewis Smith of MMA UK, thanks for coming on, sir. Let our listeners know where to check you out online and all the good stuff you do, mate.
So you can check me out on Twitter, which is Lewis_MMA UK. Facebook is just my name. And also all my stuff is on the MMA UK page as well. And thank you for having me on, guys. Really appreciate that.
Cracking. Finally, to Mr. Sean Betts of Severe MMA. Sean, a massive thank you for your time. Let our listeners know all about the wonderful work you do online and where to check you out, mate.
Well, get me on Twitter, sbets_MMA. Go subscribe to Severe MMA. Obviously, there's loads of content there for all over the shop. Check out my boy Khalid Steve. He's the Canadian-American Kermit the Frog sounding dude. Normally stood in front of the camera when I'm pointing at him. So go check his stuff out.
Awesome stuff. If you've liked this podcast, you can check out more by subscribing to Martial Arts Chat Podcast on iTunes. Like us on facebook.com/Martial Arts Chat. Follow us on Twitter @Martial Arts Chat. Thanks again to the sponsors A1FightGear.com, BeastGear.co.uk and MMA Takeover. I'm John Boy McElroy and I'll catch you next time on the Martial Arts Chat Podcast.
Martial Arts Chat.
Martial Arts Chat.
Martial Arts Chat.
Change your heart.